President.
The Speaker from the Senator from Vermont.
Thank you. Mr. President, I send to the desk my motion to instruct conferees.
The clerk will report the motion.
The Senator from Vermont, Mr. Sanders, moves that the managers on the part of the Senate at the conference on the disagreeing votes of the two houses on the House amendment to the Resolution S. Concurrent Resolution 11 be instructed to insist.
Mr. President, I would ask that the motion be dispensed with. Yeah.
Without objection.
Mr. President, as I mentioned earlier, I happen to believe that the Republican budget that we will be discussing today moves us in exactly the wrong direction. At a time when the middle class is in decline and the gap between the very, very rich and everybody else is growing wider, what the Republican budget does is make ferocious attacks on programs desperately dependent upon by working families, while at the same time providing outrageous tax breaks to the very wealthiest of the wealthy. And that makes no sense to me at all. And one area where the Republican budget is negligent, one of many areas where the Republican budget is negligent, is in the issue of Social Security. Mr. President, Social Security is perhaps the most important and successful federal program that was ever initiated. It is life and death to millions of seniors and people with disabilities in this country. And it has a history of enormous success. Before Social Security was established, about half of the seniors in this country lived in poverty. Today, while too high, that number is somewhere around 10%. Unfortunately, in recent years, what we have seen is an increase in senior poverty. We have seen many seniors struggling to pay their bills, to heat their homes, to buy the medicine they need. And it seems to me that in this moment, not only should we not be talking about cutting Social Security, as many of my Republican colleagues are, we should be talking about expanding Social Security benefits. And I have introduced legislation to do just that. But today, I rise to bring forth legislation, bring forth a motion to instruct the budget conferees to include a deficit-neutral reserve fund to protect retirement benefits by not cutting Social Security benefits, by not raising the retirement age, and by not privatizing Social Security. So in essence, what this motion to instruct says is that we go on record as members of the United States Senate that we will not cut Social Security benefits, that we will not raise the retirement age, that we will not privatize Social Security. Mr. President, at a time of massive wealth and income inequality, when 99% of all of the new income generated in this country is going to the top 1%, and when over half of the American people have less than $10,000 in savings, the last thing that any member of the United States Senate should be thinking about is cutting Social Security. Mr. President, today the average Social Security benefit is just $1,328 a month, not a lot of money. 20% of senior citizens are living on an average income of just $7,600 a year. Frankly, I don't know how anybody lives on an income of $7,600 a year. I don't know how you buy the food. I don't know how you buy the medicine you need, how you take care of your basic needs. But that is the reality. More than 1/3 of our senior citizens rely on Social Security for virtually all of their income. In other words, Social Security for them, more than a third, is not just a small part of their total income, it is virtually all of their income. Two-thirds of the American people depend on Social Security for more than half of their income. Mr. President, the reality is, despite some of the rhetoric we hear around here or see on TV, is that we do not have a Social Security crisis. America has a retirement crisis. Given this reality, our job is to expand Social Security benefits, not cut them. Mr. President, I have been distressed that in 3 out of the 4 major Budget Committee hearings held this year, Republicans invited witnesses who testified in support of cutting Social Security. John Engler, the head of the Business Roundtable, representing the CEOs of some of the largest corporations and Wall Street banks in this country, was one of the Republican witnesses. And Mr. Engler and the Business Roundtable, these are the leaders of corporate America. These are the guys who make millions of dollars a year in salary. These are the guys who have huge retirement benefits. They are asking Congress to cut Social Security COLAs for senior citizens and disabled veterans and raising the retirement age to 70 years of age. Imagine that. People who are multimillionaires, who themselves have huge retirement benefits, they're coming here to Capitol Hill and they're saying to members of the Congress, you cut Social Security. It turns out, in fact, that the CEOs of the Business Roundtable have retirement benefits of their own of some $88,000 a month. So you get the heads of large corporations, they have retirement benefits of $88,000 a month, $1 million a year, and they're coming to Congress and say, well, you got to cut benefits for people who are trying to survive on $14,000 a year. That is an outrage. Mr. President, I am getting a little bit tired of being lectured by CEOs of large corporations who want to cut the Social Security benefits of elderly people. That is wrong. Mr. President, I am also tired of hearing folks getting up on TV and they're saying Social Security is going broke. Well, the truth is Social Security is not going broke. Social Security has a $2.8 trillion surplus and can pay out every benefit owed to every eligible American for the next 18 years. Now, is 18 years a terribly long time? No, it's not. Should we develop legislation to extend Social Security for decades after that 18 years? Yes, we should, and I have done that. But please, I would hope that my colleagues will not stand up here and tell us that Social Security is going broke, because it is not. Mr. President, I believe that the American people feel very strongly that in these difficult times, Social Security is a major, major safety net for so many of the elderly and the disabled. Our job tonight, our job when we vote tonight, is to send a very, very clear message that the United States Senate is not going to cut Social Security, it is not going to privatize Social Security, it is not going to raise the age in which people get those Social Security benefits. And with that, Mr. President, I would yield the floor to the senator from Hawaii.
I thank the